Hi, my name is Cindy. Many years ago, my husband and I, uh, we had a we held a Bible class at our house on Saturday mornings. We would do a pancake breakfast, and then we had two of our kids and some other young adults from church come over, and we would have a Bible study, and we thought it was a lot of fun. My husband and I took turns leading it and sharing. But one day when it was my turn, one of the young men started laughing, and I said, are you laughing at me? And he said, well, get to the point. And I said, I thought I was. And he said, no, you're just going on and on and on. Well, that's true. That's true. My husband, he can say what he wants in a couple sentences, but it takes me a paragraph, to say the same thing, because I like details. That's just who I am. I like to know the who, what, when, where, and why of a story. I love a good story. And if I was still sitting at my home down south, where I lived for many years, I would be on the front porch in my rocker with a tall glass of iced tea, and I would share my story. And that's who I am. And what is my story? Well, my story is the fact that at one point I didn't know Jesus, and I accepted him into my heart in a moment's time. But my story is, it's a lifelong journey to follow Jesus. It's a lifelong journey to learn how to be his disciple. And everything in my life up to this point has brought me closer to him, for good or for bad. And so on this YouTube, I have been sharing parts of my story. I think there's like 400 videos out there somewhere. and so here's the thing. If you love a good story, then hit the subscribe button and find the stories that I share. Find the songs that I sing. And hopefully the whole purpose is to give you courage if you're going through the same thing. I don't mean to ramble on and on, but I do love a good story, and I do love good details. And so that's just who I am. And so lately I've tried to keep these videos down to under 5 minutes. And obviously this one is probably not going to be that way. But I wanted to share about let your faith be stronger than your fear. That's a plaque I have hanging in my living room. So that moment in time when that young man laughed at me, it affected me to the point that I quit teaching and I quit sharing. I didn't even like to be around people sometimes, and it was hard for me to leave the house, and unless somebody was with me. And so also back in the day, my husband and I liked to go biking, and yet 3 times I let the fear of something that had happened keep me from riding my bike. And one was that we saw a cougar up in the rocks ahead of us, and we had read that there was people seeing a cougar in our area, but I just didn't think he would be in our area. And I said, that's it, I'm done, I'm going home. Another time was we were on this straight path in the woods on both sides. It was a beautiful day, and it was a paved trail. I love that because it was hard for me to ride in the dirt. And my husband was quite a ways up in front of me, and all of a sudden there was this thunderous noise, and about 4 deer or so, big deer, just burst out of the woods on the right, and they crossed between our bikes and went off into the left. And but one of them clipped the wheel of my bicycle, and I lost control, and I crashed, and I said, that's it, I'm not going back, I'm going home. And so another time was, we weren't even 20 minutes into the ride, and a swarm of dragonflies came at us, and I was swatting them like flies. I don't like dragonflies up close and personal, and so one got in my hair and one hit me on the neck, and I started screaming. I jumped off the bike. I said, that's it, I'm done, I'm going home. And so I let my fear stop me from doing something that I really like to do, ride a bike with my husband. Now, we are supposed to have caution. We live in the Northland, and there's woods and wildlife all around us. But I could have done something different, could have gone somewhere different. But I just let my fear stop me from riding my bike on the trails. And now I can't. I've lost that opportunity. I haven't been able to ride a bike for a long time because of my bone problems, and I've had surgery, and now I have a bad right knee. So I'm just saying, I let it stop me. And there could have been a different answer. So we're also going to hear noise outside because it's summertime, and people are cutting grass and weed whacking out there. But I'm going to keep on going because I'm almost done. So let your faith be stronger than your fear. So one day I was going through the front room, and I looked at that plaque again, because I read it every time I walk through, and I realized I was not living my life like that. I was living in fear. And I say all the time that God is in control, and I truly believe that. But there are times that things just overwhelm me. And so what do we do? Well, you give your fears to Jesus, and you give your fears, and you give your fears. And every time you give your fears, as many times as it takes for you to realize that God is in control, and He'll take your fears, and He'll calm you, and He'll show you another way. He is with us always. He said He would never leave us nor forsake us. And so let your faith be stronger than your fear. Don't let it stop you from doing what God has called you to do, what maybe you feel like He wants you to do. Move forward and keep your eyes on Him. And He's coming back soon. And all of this will be just a distant memory. My name is Cindy. Charlie's scratching at the door. That hasn't happened since many videos ago. He's 5 years old now, my Charlie, my husband's dog, Charlie. He's an 87-year-old lab, and I'm going to go let him in. But yeah, I am who I am, and I love a good story, a true story, a story that I hope will help. And so I hope that if you click on any of my videos, you'll just listen to the end, because there's always a good lesson to learn. There's always something good to help you in your life. And I pray for all of you, for any of you that listen, that if anything, you hear my heart, that Jesus is the answer, and He'll take your fears. And my name is Cindy, and I hope to see you again soon.